Right now, somewhere in America, a worried family sits across from a caseworker in a nursing home office, hearing words that can completely reshape their future. Their loved one needs long-term care, and the message is clear. You'll need to spend down nearly everything you've saved before help can kick in. Within days or weeks, panic sets in. They start transferring money to relatives, emptying bank accounts, or rushing into big purchases they never planned, all because they believe there's no other path forward. But what if the real issue isn't how much money they have, but where that money is held and how it's structured? Certain accounts can change everything under Medicaid rules, making the same dollars either fully countable or largely invisible when it comes to eligibility. Today on Retirewise, we're diving deep into three powerful accounts that can make a world of difference for seniors and their families facing long-term care decisions. These strategies aren't loopholes or secrets. They're built right into the system, yet most people never hear about them until it's too late. I'm here to walk you through them in plain, straightforward language so you can make informed choices before expensive mistakes happen. Whether you're planning ahead or already navigating a crisis, this could save you tens of thousands of dollars and a lot of heartache. Let me introduce myself if we haven't met yet. I'm your host at Retirewise, dedicated to breaking down complex retirement, elder care, and Medicaid rules so real families like yours can protect what they've worked so hard to build. Medicaid regulations shift often and vary wildly from state to state, which is why so many folks get caught off guard. No official letter arrives in your mailbox warning you about exemptions or special treatments. That's why we focus on clear explanations, real examples, and practical steps you can take right now. In this video, we'll cover the three key accounts that frequently surprise families in the best possible way, starting with the quickest and simplest option, then moving to strategies for larger sums, and finally addressing retirement savings that many assume must be wiped out. Before we jump in, here's the foundational idea that makes everything else click. Medicaid doesn't just look at your total net worth. It divides your resources into countable assets and non-countable ones. Two families with identical savings can have completely different outcomes depending on how those dollars are held. That distinction becomes critical when nursing home costs average well over $8,000 to $12,000 per month in many parts of the country, and even higher in high-cost states like California or New York. Few families can sustain those expenses for years without help, which is why Medicaid pays for the majority of long-term nursing home care nationwide. But qualifying means meeting strict asset limits, often around $2,000 for a single person in many states. Hearing that number causes instant panic, yet certain structured accounts can help you stay within the rules without losing everything you've earned. Let's start with the first and often fastest tool, an irrevocable funeral trust, sometimes called an irrevocable pre-need funeral contract. Medicaid understands that final expenses are inevitable, so it often allows money permanently committed to legitimate funeral and burial costs to be treated differently. The magic word is irrevocable. Once the funds go in, you can't pull them back out on a whim. They're dedicated to those specific future needs. Think about it this way. A regular savings account earmarked for a funeral still counts as your money because you control it. You could spend it on a vacation tomorrow if you wanted. Medicaid typically sees it as available. But with an irrevocable funeral trust, that money is legally set aside. It's no longer freely available for daily use, so in many states, it stops being counted against your asset limit. Picture a 78-year-old widow in Ohio with $8,000 in her checking account, pushing her over the limit for Medicaid help with nursing home care. She doesn't want to give money away and risk penalties, nor does she want to blow it on unnecessary items. Instead, she works with a funeral provider to set up an irrevocable pre-need contract covering her services, casket, burial plot, transportation, and other final expenses. Depending on her state's caps, often in the $10,000 to $15,000 range, though it varies, this money can shift categories and help her qualify faster. The funds aren't hidden, they're simply repurposed for something she'd eventually pay for anyway. Many states require a detailed itemized list, so it's clear this is a legitimate prepayment, not a dodge. This approach stands apart from outright gifts because you're receiving fair value in the form of guaranteed future services. That distinction helps it avoid the usual 5-year look-back penalties. If you're considering this, don't just walk into any funeral home and open a generic account. Specifically ask for an irrevocable, Medicaid-compliant funeral trust or pre-need contract. Get everything in writing, confirm the exact coverage, and double-check your state's limits and requirements. Rules differ, some states are more flexible than others, so verification is key. This simple step can protect a few $1,000s quickly and give you peace of mind knowing final arrangements are already handled. Now, what if your excess assets are much larger? Maybe $20,000, $50,000, or even six figures sitting in CDs, brokerage accounts, or home sale proceeds. An irrevocable funeral trust won't cover that gap. This is where the second powerful tool comes in, a Medicaid-compliant annuity. This strategy shines when you need to convert a big lump sum into something Medicaid views more favorably. The basic concept is straightforward. You exchange a lump sum for a contract that pays out fixed monthly amounts over time. Instead of one large countable asset, you create an income stream. But not just any annuity works, it must meet strict Medicaid rules to qualify. It typically needs to be irrevocable, non-assignable, actuarially sound based on life expectancy, and often names the state as a beneficiary for any remaining funds after your passing. These requirements ensure the arrangement provides fair value rather than appearing as a transfer. Consider a retired couple in Texas where the husband needs nursing home care and they have $60,000 in a savings account, pushing them over the limit. The wife, still living at home, needs ongoing income for her own expenses. A properly structured Medicaid-compliant annuity can convert that lump sum into monthly payments that support her while potentially removing the original principal from the countable asset column. The income itself may be evaluated separately under Medicaid's income rules, but the big pile of cash that was blocking eligibility often gets reclassified. This tool is especially valuable for married couples because Medicaid already offers some spousal protections for the community spouse. A compliant annuity can help maximize those safeguards and provide steady cash flow. The catch? Timing, wording, and state-specific compliance are everything. Walk into a regular insurance office and you might get a great financial product that still counts fully against Medicaid because it misses one technical requirement. That's a costly mistake. If this sounds relevant, work with an elder law attorney or certified Medicaid planner experienced in these annuities. Ask pointed questions. Is this annuity designed to meet my state's Medicaid standards? Can you show me the exact provisions? Never assume a standard annuity will work. When done right, this strategy respects the rules by exchanging assets for a legitimate income stream rather than gifting them away. Even with these options, one type of asset causes more confusion than almost anything else. Retirement accounts like IRAs, 401ks, or 403bs. Many families are told they must spend these down aggressively, but that's not always the full story. In a significant number of states, once these accounts enter payout status with regular distributions, the balance itself may no longer be treated as a countable asset in the same way. Medicaid may focus primarily on the income coming out rather than the total value sitting there. This can be game-changing for someone with a $150,000 or $300,000 retirement nest egg. In favorable states, starting required minimum distributions or other recurring payouts can shift how the entire account is viewed, potentially preserving far more of your savings than you thought possible. However, this is highly state-dependent. Some states are lenient once payouts begin, others continue counting the full balance regardless. Roth IRAs often behave differently because they don't require lifetime distributions, which can affect strategy. Take a 72-year-old retired teacher in Florida with a sizable rollover IRA. She assumes the account means no Medicaid eligibility until it's nearly gone. After checking her state's policies, she learns that establishing qualifying distributions changes the picture dramatically. The account administrator handles the mechanics, but you must confirm with Medicaid exactly how your state classifies it. Don't rely on advice from another state or outdated information. Policies evolve. Different account types matter too. Traditional IRAs and employer plans usually have required minimum distribution rules that can help trigger payout status, while Roth accounts may need a different approach. If this applies to you, contact your retirement plan provider to set up recurring distributions if needed, then verify directly with your state Medicaid agency how accounts in payout status are treated. Documentation is your friend here. It's natural to wonder if these are loopholes. They're not. Medicaid rules explicitly distinguish between different asset types and arrangements. An irrevocable funeral trust prepays for real services. A compliant annuity exchanges value for income. Retirement accounts in payout status follow the distribution rules already required by the IRS in many cases. These are legitimate planning tools, not hidden tricks. They differ from more advanced Medicaid asset protection trusts, which involve longer look-back periods and earlier planning. Of course, every situation is unique. Nursing home admissions bring mountains of paperwork, tight deadlines, and emotional stress. In that pressure cooker, it's tempting to follow the first advice you hear and liquidate everything, but taking time to explore these options can preserve dignity, security, and hard-earned savings. Other valuable points to consider: start planning early if possible, keep detailed records of all transactions, and be aware of the 5-year look-back for transfers. Coordinate with other benefits like Veterans Aid and attendance if eligible. Review your overall estate plan, including powers of attorney and wills at the same time. For married couples, understanding spousal resource allowances and income protections is crucial. Single individuals face tighter limits, making these accounts even more important. Costs continue rising, so proactive steps today can prevent crisis tomorrow. Consult professionals who specialize in elder law. General financial advisors may not know the Medicaid nuances. Putting it all together, these 3 accounts offer practical pathways when facing long-term care needs. The irrevocable funeral trust handles smaller excess amounts and secures final wishes. The Medicaid-compliant annuity tackles larger lump sums by converting them into income streams. And retirement accounts in payout status can sometimes protect substantial nest eggs in the right states. None of them involve hiding money. They work within the existing framework by changing how assets are categorized and used. The takeaway is powerful. Never assume spend down is your only option. One conversation with the right expert or a single verification call can open doors you didn't know existed. Before moving money, gifting assets, or making irreversible choices, explore what your state allows. Knowledge truly is power when protecting your retirement. If this video helped clarify your options, please hit the like button. Subscribe to Retirewise, and turn on notifications so you never miss future updates on Medicaid, retirement planning, and senior financial strategies. We cover these topics regularly because rules change and timing matters. Drop a comment below. Which of these accounts surprised you most, or what specific situation are you facing? Sharing your thoughts helps others in similar spots. And if you have a parent, spouse, or friend navigating these waters, please share this video with them today. The most valuable information is often the one that arrives before the tough decisions are made. Thank you for watching, for trusting Retirewise with your retirement journey, and for prioritizing smart, proactive planning. I'll see you in the next video where we'll tackle another important topic to help you retire wiser and live more securely. Take care and stay informed.